Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
The Daily Compliance News for February 14, 2025, the Valentine's Day edition. Unfortunately, not much love in today's news as the Wall Street Journal reports that the SEC is looking to muzzle shareholders who want to talk about culture. And the commission is going to make it easier for companies to shoot down shareholder proposals of issues that they're interested in. So I think you will see more shareholder disestablishmentism from the SEC as they work to power corporations at the expense of shareholders. Next up, the BBC asks, was Shell scammed in a cleanup? A BBC investigation has uncovered allegations that Shell ignored repeated warnings of a controversial cleanup operation in the oil-polluted areas of southern Nigeria. The BBC has allegedly discovered evidence that several years into the scheme, which was funded by various government agencies and oil firms to the tune of $1 billion, has been described as a con and a scam that wasted money. So the BBC is asking questions of Shell. Next up from Reuters, CFIUS is going to be even more prominent under the Trump administration. It certainly was prominent in the Biden administration, but I anticipate, and Reuters anticipates, that CFIUS's power will only grow under the Trump second administration. There were over $70 million in fines and penalties on 6 civil monetary penalties issued in 2024, and the Trump administration is unlikely to make any changes on this as they try to protect U.S. citizens and companies from foreign entanglements. And finally, if you ever wondered whether the Southern District of New York will have independence, the question has now been answered. The answer is no, none, zero, that the Justice Department and Trump, meaning Trump, will run the prosecutions and investigations out of the Southern District of New York once heralded as an independent U.S. Attorney's Office. The Manhattan's acting attorney resigned Thursday after being ordered to drop a corruption case against New York Mayor Eric Adams. The dropping of the case came directly from the number 2 at the Department of Justice, and I think that is an indication of what you will see in the Trump administration, where if you're an ally of Donald Trump, either by hook, nook, crook, or donation, you will receive very favorable treatment. And if the president wants to go after you, well, then they've got the Southern District of New York to do that. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jay Clayton navigates all of this. At the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.